class Andrew Fernandez to discuss Unit 3, the Democratic primary, presidential primary between former Vice President Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders. The first theme that was discussed was around the coronavirus, and Biden showed sympathy right away for those that have dealt with COVID, and he also used this platform as a political advertisement for his campaign. So, pushing people to joebiden.com to share his full story if he wasn't able to answer everything within the questions that the moderators presented. Biden, he was the kind of person, he stuck to his agenda, and he references his time during as a vice president and how he got through the Ebola crisis, and then when he's asked a question that maybe is not in his favor, he restates the question by answering it and spins it in a way that he wants to present information. Bernie Sanders, he goes in with the mindset that the system is currently broken and how he's gonna fix it. He definitely attacks the current system, and he's definitely a middle class, lower class type of guy, or at least that's the perception he gives off. The moderators asked very, very good questions, and I believe they asked fair questions. Since it is CNN, I think the agenda behind it was to show that the system is broken, and how are these two presidential candidates going to fix that system. The next topic was the economic impact of coronavirus, and that's where Bernie Sanders, Biden prides himself on being the vice president and what he did. So Bernie, combated that with, he brought up the Ebola crisis and how Biden, had faults during that process. So while Biden was trying to push his experience, Bernie tried to look at the flaws of that as well. In part 3, the political revolution versus improving the system, something that may seem unordinary, but Biden, refers to his opponent as Bernie, and then he corrects himself and says Senator. Why I think that's important, I think it was intentional, was to show that he's trying to show respect, and he accidentally called him by his first name, and then he quickly goes into Senator. I think he's just trying to show that he is respectful. I think that was a strategy of his. Bernie really talks about building the country around what Americans actually look like, and not letting corporations take over, and especially with political campaigns. And Biden touched on this as well, that he wished political campaigns were federally funded, and not so much, where you're trying to get funds from these big billionaires. Part 4, solicited questions, talked about women on the president's cabinet and immigration, and then another topic was immigration. Biden came out and said he's gonna be the first president to have a female vice president, and then Bernie was Senator Sanders was followed up with he would do the same, which I think he was kind of put into a corner. The last few topics: climate plan, dictators and foreign policy, Iraq war, vulnerabilities, and COVID. How they interacted with one another. Biden got a little frustrated when Bernie Sanders would attack some of the decisions that were made from his past, but then he laughed it off. And then he looked directly at Sanders to show he has a strong, or to give a strong persona, and he wasn't going to back down. But I thought both of them handled themselves well. If I had to give who won between the two as far as reacting towards one another, I think Bernie Sanders did a better job of not reacting as much as Vice President Biden did. Biden did show a little more frustration, and so I wish, my feedback to him would be, a little less discomfort when being challenged. And then the moderators, like I pointed out earlier, I thought they asked really, really good questions that American people wanted to know more information about. As I said, it being a CNN, they definitely show that the current Trump administration has faults, and they wanted to portray these two presidents to find that they're able to find a cure to those issues. Um, Lastly, I think, in my opinion, Vice President Biden was asked softer questions than Bernie Sanders. I think Sanders was questioned a little harder than Biden, and maybe that's because they're really trying to push Biden to be the representative. But looking forward to hearing your responses, and another great week. Thank you.